What's up YouTube? This is Daniel Carter at AfroHerpkeeper. Today I have a very exciting unboxing video for you guys. Today we are unpackaging over 100 pounds of exotic animal food from the industry leaders in exotic animal nutrition, Missouri. Without any further ado, let's get started. The planet we live on is infested with life. Creeping, crawling, slithering life. Once upon a time, everything we did revolved around the natural world. But now, there are billions of us, and we as a species have never strayed further from our roots. Even so, some of us continue to slip through the cracks. I'm not scared of any animal, no matter the number of teeth, claws, or legs. My only directive is to reconnect you with the wild, to defend the creatures that need it most, and to do my part to preserve the biodiversity of our remarkable world. My name is Daniel Carter, and you're watching AfroHerpkeeper. So I know I've been on a bit of a hiatus lately. I haven't uploaded much since my last update on Saturn, the ball python. She is still doing very well, by the way. She has eaten in the meantime, and she continues to improve. So I haven't dedicated much time to filming or editing videos lately, but that's because I'm a one-man show. I am caring for my very large collection of animals and filming and editing and doing all these things by myself. I don't have a team, I don't have any dedicated helpers, so I'm doing all this by myself, and I put the needs of my animals before the needs of my fans. But I've been staying on top of everybody, and I am always looking for new ways to improve, which is why today we are unboxing four very large packages from the industry leader in exotic animal nutrition, Missouri. This is a company that makes food for everything. They make everything from rodent food to parrot food to elephant food to sea turtle food. This company has been at the forefront of the science of animal nutrition for a long time, and they are trusted by many zoos and aquariums. So since I'm always looking for ways to improve, I thought why not take the leap, make an investment, and buy some high quality animal food. That is what we're going to unbox right now. And then, later on in the video, we are going to offer this food to all of the appropriate animals. I've been talking long enough, so let's crack these open. We're starting with the smallest box on top here. This contains 2 different diets. And this one is definitely the lightest package of the group. We have a few different things in here. Very cool, very cool. Okay. First item on the list, Missouri cockroach diet. This is 5 kilograms of high quality, low protein cockroach diet. At the moment, I think I have 10 species of cockroaches, and the majority of those, at least to some extent, are used as feeders for my reptiles and amphibians. So I got this food not just for my cockroaches, but also for my reptiles and amphibians, because the nutrition that you give your feeder insects is passed on in turn to the animals that are eating those feeder insects. This is how the food chain works, that's how energy is transferred, and so the higher quality of a diet you feed your feeder insects, the better off your reptiles and amphibians will be by eating them. One very common issue with feeder insects is that they are fed a diet that is so high in protein that it will actually give reptiles gout. So you want to try and aim for a low protein, high vegetable diet for most of your feeder insects. And that's why I got 5 kilograms of high quality cockroach diet. And this should last me a good long time. I want to say that bag was $30-ish. You could find out on their website. One more thing in this bag, and it comes with instructions. This is Missouri Amphibian and Carnivorous Reptile Gel. So this is kind of similar to Pangea Gecko diet or things like that. It is a powder that you mix with water into a gel, and then you can feed that to insectivorous amphibians and reptiles. Only ones that are willing to take food items other than bugs, of course. I could be mistaken though. This could be so appetizing and irresistible that any amphibian or reptile will take it. We'll see which ones will and which won't. So it looks like inside this container there are 2 separate bags of this diet. Very useful. So we have 0.25 and 0.75 kilograms. So this will be going to my salamanders and to any of the lizards that will try it. This is essentially everything that they need. It's just not a bug. It's a pre-made insectivore diet. As they say in the instructions here, Missouri amphibian and carnivorous reptile gel is designed to be an essential part of a total feeding system. It may be fed free choice as the primary diet or may be supplemented with insects or other prey items, meat, or produce. So we have amphibian and carnivorous reptile gel, and we have 5 kilograms of cockroach diet. That's our first box. Next box. Here is where it gets significantly heavier. I don't know which of these is which, but 2 of these boxes in this stack here weigh 25 pounds, and the other one weighs 50. So in total, we actually have a little bit over 100 pounds of animal food. Nice. Okay, this is the heaviest box. So recently, I have gotten into breeding mice and African soft fur rats as feeders for my snakes. It's easier, it's more convenient, and it's more cost effective for me to do it myself than to go to the store and buy frozen ones. So, as I am the one taking care of these animals, I want to make sure I'm doing the best job I can and giving them the highest quality of life and highest quality diet that I can. So, if I'm not mistaken, this is 50 pounds of Missouri. This is 50 pounds of Missouri Rodent Breeder 6F diet. So, this is about as good as it gets when it comes to rodent blocks. These will be fed to my mice and to my soft furs, and I got 50 pounds, so they definitely won't run out soon. Next 2 boxes should be at least a little bit lighter. What do we have in here? This one is for my parrots. So this bag contains 25 pounds of Missouri small bird maintenance diet. This is feed for small citizens and passerines. So this is for parrots and pigeons and similar birds, if I'm not mistaken. They mention this as important on the label. A feeding program is only as effective as the management practices followed. For best results, store contents of open bag in a container with a sealing lid. Store in a cool, dry location, used within 1 year of manufacturing. So this small bird maintenance diet will be added to the rotation of foods that I feed my parrots. We're down to the last box, ladies and gentlemen. Very last box. This one should also be 25 pounds. Kids at home, don't point scissors towards yourself. That's dumb. So this is 25 pounds of Missouri game bird starter. So this is for my Chinese button quail. I got the game bird starter as opposed to the game bird maintenance diet because food that is made for game bird chicks is higher protein, and button quail in general, need a very high protein diet because of their diet in the wild, which is largely insects. So this one has a crude protein minimum of 30%. Normally if you went to a feed store, you would see them max out at around 20%. So, we have food for my Chinese button quail, my Quaker parrots, my mice and African soft fur rats, my lizards and salamanders, and my cockroaches. In total, I think this shipment was $230, including shipping. Shipment of 100 pounds of anything is going to be pretty expensive, so I'm happy with my purchase. So, let's get these diets to the respective animals, and I will give you guys a bit of a sneak peek through my collection because I haven't publicized much of it other than on Instagram, which you can, as always, find in the description. So first off, we are going to be trying this small bird maintenance diet with my parrots, Java and Kirby. As you can see, they are already a little bit skeptical about this. The bag is bright purple and they're not sure what's going on. The bag is coated on the inside with some plastic material, which should hopefully mean that I can just clip it, tie it shut, and it'll work for storage that way. So this is the small bird maintenance diet. There are 2 different sizes of granules. What do you guys think? What do you think? Yeah, so this is Java on the left with the slightly smaller beak, and Kirby down here with the bigger beak. They are already interested, it looks like. Yeah, So these goofy birds, these are my children. They've only been in a handful of videos, but these guys are, Yeah. They're a handful. But they are very smart. They're learning new words and new things all the time. Taking care of parrots is pretty similar to taking care of toddlers. They're entertained by similar things. They're loud all the time. They prefer things like towels over actual toys. Yeah. And they are very picky eaters. They're scared of a lot of things. You sort of have to get them over their fears like you would a child. But they are also very intelligent, very sweet, and, you know, they have their moments. You guys want to try this food? What do you think? What do you think? There's new food in there. The suggestion on the bag was to try replacing about 10% of the diet at a time. So I've stolen their food dish and we're dipping it right in there. We're going to see as you can hear, these birds aren't for everyone. Yeah. This is their freak out noise. So now they're overcoming their hesitation somewhat. They are hesitant around all new objects, and you just sort of have to, you know, reassure them, act like nothing's wrong, because nothing is wrong. They're just anxious by nature. You know, one wrong move in the wild and they are something else's lunch, so they have to be hesitant. And these are not originally captive bred birds. These are actually from Austin Wildlife Rescue. They take the chicks out of nests that would otherwise be knocked down, they hand rear them, and then they adopt them out to homes. So these two are not quite as tame as captive bred birds, but they are very smart, they're loving, and they are bonded to their humans. Yeah. What do you think? And they love this. What do you think? You want to try it out? You've got new food in there. What do you think? Not sure. Kirby is going in for the kill. He's picked up a pellet and he's trying it out for the first time. Kirby is usually the first of the two to try new things. He's a little less neurotic than Java. Kirby is going back for seconds. I think we've won over this one. Now it's only a matter of time before Java joins him. So it looks like we have general approval from Kirby, going back for thirds now. And Java will overcome his hesitation momentarily, I'm sure. Like I said, this is going to be added to their food regimen, so this is not the only thing they're going to be eating. They eat fresh fruit sometimes, at least pieces that they aren't afraid of. They also get this Rowdy Bush maintenance diet, Supreme brand food, a few different kinds, and they get dried papaya as treats. They get occasionally some millet. This stuff is pretty addictive. This is like bird crack, so they don't get too much of that. And then they also have their calcium supplements, and they have lots of toys, and they get free flying time every day. Their wings aren't clipped, and we talk to them every time we go past the cage. And they are great percussionists. So we officially have the Kirby seal of approval, and we will have to wait and see what Java thinks. He takes his time. Next, we are going to offer our rodent diet and our game bird starter. So apart from the parrots, I keep my smellier and messier animals in the garage, just to keep them away from the rest of the house, because the quail produce tons of dander, and the rodents, well, they pee and poop a lot. So we are now in the garage. I would like to make it clear that the rodent setups you're about to see are a little less than perfect. These are not setups that I would recommend keeping rodents in long term, but please remember that these are feeders. I actually didn't purchase any of these animals. They were all given to me. The mice in particular were given to me with their current enclosures. So I am accommodating them as best I can right now, and I will be upgrading their enclosures to proper rodent breeding racks as soon as I can. The takeaway from that is that the enclosures you are about to see, don't replicate those. You want to do your own research and take care of rodents the way they're meant to be cared for. Particularly these mice enclosures. So these are habit trails. I have 4 very pregnant females in this enclosure. I have 1 male and 1 female in here, and another male and female in here. And these ones are more juveniles than anything. So KT brand critter trails. Anyone who's worth their salt can tell you that these enclosures are not actually suitable for rodents, especially not 4 pregnant mice at a time. But this is what I have, so I'm keeping them fed and watered, and they will be upgraded as necessary in the future. They are very cute. So let's feed all of the rodents first. So these are rodent blocks. This is a diet formulated for breeding rodents, rats and mice, mainly used for lab animals and feeder animals. So this has the appropriate nutritional requirements for rodents that are actively breeding and producing babies. Just gonna take a handful of this for each enclosure for now. As you can see, these mice are expecting. They are very cute and very soft. And no, these particular ones are not going to be fed to my snakes. It's their babies that are going to be fed to my snakes. I'm sorry if you have a problem with this. Snakes have to eat rodents. So like I said, I have 4 very lovely breeder females in here. This silvery blue one is sort of the boss of the group. Here she comes. And they're very excited about these. So we have the mouse seal of approval for sure. Moving on from the mice, we have my African soft fur rats. So I have 2 males and 5 females. The females are all in this sorority cage. The males are in their own 10-gallon tanks. Once again, these enclosures are far from ideal and will be upgraded in the future. I've only had the mice for about 2 weeks and the rats for about 2 months. I originally had the whole group together, and I learned very quickly that that was a bad idea, so the males stay on their own and the females get the big cage to themselves. And they have lots of stuff to keep them active and healthy in here. They have this big rodent wheel, they have a hide, they have a big water bottle, and they have these this acrobatic equipment, which I actually unboxed in a recent video. So these are African soft fur rats. They are a rodent, but they are actually technically not a rat or a mouse. They are a different group called multi-mammates. The most common name you hear for this species is the African soft fur rat. Other people will call them multi-mammate mice. This is because I think we have the soft fur seal of approval too. I'm sorry for holding her like this. She will bite me otherwise. They are called multi-mammates because they actually have 14 nipples. So I have 5 females in here, and I have the 2 males in here in separate 10-gallon tanks because they will kill each other, and they also stress the females out quite a bit. So when I need to breed them, I just introduce the male to the females for about an hour, and you know, being males, they do what they do. And they are just as soft as the name implies. Just as soft as they look. So these guys are gonna get 1 handful each for now. What do you think, dude? Alright, so our soft furs and our mice are chowing down on some Missouri brand 6F rodent breeder diet, and now we get to feed my quail. Alright, so my button quail. At the moment, I have 1 pair of adults in this puppy pen out here. I have a cinnamon hen right here, and a normal male who is... They are both very skittish. This is the smallest species of quail in the world. They're from China. So this is the male. He's got the bib right there, and that's the female. Very cute, very flighty birds, and they have a stack of eggs over here. She lays about 2 at a time, usually once a day. Sometimes she goes on a hiatus and then starts laying again, but she lays plenty of eggs. And I use the eggs as feeders for my lizards, turtles, snakes, etc. Anything that will take them. They have food and water over here, so we're going to be putting the new game bird starter into this feeder here. It's a little bit of a mess, hasn't been cleaned in a while, but they're doing all right. I have a space heater out here because it actually got pretty cold last night, even though we're coming out of winter now. So I have my pair of adults in there. This is my brooder. I have exactly 1 chick in here right now. This is a 2 or 3 week old chick. So not nearly as small as they come, but still not very big. And it has its own feeder and waterer in here. If I were to work with them a little bit more, they'd probably be just a bit less flighty. I have my adult set up, I have my brooder, and up here we have an incubator. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 13 eggs in here right now. These are just some vats of water retentive crystals to help keep the humidity up. This is a Zoomed brand Reptibator. I come out here and manually flip the eggs about twice a day. And this stays at 100 degrees. And this says 27% humidity, but that's because I just opened it. I try to keep it around 50% humidity, and then you want to raise it to like 70-75% the week before they hatch. So I have my incubator, I have my brooder, and I have my adults. We are going to put some of this Missouri game bird starter in with the adults and the chick. Evidently I need to get a little better at opening these bags. Alright, nice. So this is our game bird starter. Pellets are a fairly large granule size. Might be a little bit big for the chicks, but I bet they can deal with it. If push comes to shove, I could just grind this with mortar and pestle or something. So we're gonna take the feeders over there and just scoop them into this. And that'll last them about 2 or 3 weeks. Had this girl fly out just now, so here's a closer look at the hen. They are beautiful little birds. Their claws look like they could use a trim. Alright, so that is my quail, my African soft fur rats, and my mice. Now you've seen it all. Obviously this setup leaves a little bit to be desired, but they are receiving high quality feed, they get plenty of water, and all of these rodents have upgrades waiting for them in the near future. Moving on, it looks like Java and Kirby have taken to the new pellets. Good job, he's a puffy boy. So last but not least, we have our Missouri amphibian and carnivorous reptile gel and our Missouri cockroach diet. So here's all of our reptile and amphibian gel. This stuff smells like seaweed, and I'm gonna guess that that's because one of the main ingredients is spirulina algae. The spirulina is what's actually going to give it the gel-like consistency and what's going to allow it to set and still be all natural. They sealed this stuff pretty well, but I'm going to guess that it will store just fine in this container if I dump it all out, so that's what I'm gonna do. It smells like algae and fish food, but honestly, it's not even that bad. If I were a lizard or a salamander, I bet I would find the smell appetizing. My cats want in on it, so that has to be a good sign. Alright, now all that's left to do is to follow the instructions on the sheet that they provided. And for anyone curious, here is the exact composition of the diet. I've used some of these spirulina-based gel foods before, mostly for my isopods, so I know the first step is we gotta boil some water. They say to do about 1/3 mixture to 2/3 water, so I'm gonna mess around with the proportions a bit. Probably going to use 2 teaspoons per batch, about. I'm making a bunch of this stuff because I have a lot of animals I want to feed right now. Trying slightly different amounts of water with all 3 of these, just to see what the right consistency is. They say you want to mix this for about a minute and then let it sit in the refrigerator. Really similar to the food I feed my isopods, as well as, in some regard, Pangea gecko diet and other powdered gecko diets like that. Looks like this one's a slightly better consistency in terms of food to water ratio. I think I'm going to set them all in the fridge and see how they turn out. Probably the water, if I added too much, will accumulate on the surface and I can just dump it out later. So our gel has set. It doesn't actually take very long. Now all we got to do is cut it into little bite-sized pieces for the animals. I'm obviously not doing a very good job because I'm doing this one-handed with my phone in the other hand. I did a pretty sloppy job, but you can definitely get the concept. So now, arguably, for the best part of the video, we are going to take this Missouri carnivorous reptile and amphibian gel and feed it to some critters. So I will admit I've already tested some of this stuff out to see who will and who won't eat it. Turns out my tiger salamanders absolutely relish this stuff, and that's not much of a surprise to me considering they will eat anything that moves. I think this is actually the first time I've ever shown their setup on film. It has changed a little bit over the last couple months. You gotta let go of that part, bud. You gotta let go. They are so vicious. Dude, you have to let go of the tongs. Thank you. And now he's just gonna work that down. Good job, buddy. So that's my biggest barred tiger salamander. I have 3 of these guys and 1 eastern tiger salamander in here. Doesn't look it because they are all underground right now, but there are 4 of them absolutely thriving in here. Let's see if we can't encourage a few more salamanders to come out. They do like when it rains. And I will have a video coming out very soon, a rather long video actually, on all 3 of my salamander tubs and how I put those together, and all 4 of the very cool salamander species living in those tubs. I think that video is also going to turn out to be like 30 minutes long, so it's something to look forward to. Okay, so it's like a couple hours later. Here's the guy we fed. He's just chilling over here. This is my single eastern tiger salamander, and he's ready for this. So I have 3 barred tigers and 1 eastern in here. That's not the right thing to bite, buddy. Let go. So this guy's name is Bud, also known as the Crimson Chin, and that's just because he has a weird blocky lower jaw. He's always had a weird bottom jaw. He was given to me with that, but he is in just as good health as everybody else. And as you can see, he is a voracious muncher. Another amphibian I know is interested in this stuff is my Sonoran Desert or Colorado River Toad. And this is great because feeding him in the past has sometimes been a bit of a challenge, but as you can see, he's very interested in this stuff. Actually getting this stuff to stick in his mouth and not fall off the tongs, that's the only hard part. Good job. You got that piece. As you can see, this stuff is rather sticky, so I might recommend feeding it somewhere where there is not a bunch of substrate to get stuck to it. Good job, dude. Let's see if he'll take one more decent sized chunk here. The consistency on this batch might be a little bit too watery, as you can see. You get this? Can you get this, dude? Oh, you're so close. Yes. You got a little bit there. Good job, buddy. Nice work. Nicely done. Want to get another piece? Yes. Well done, sir. And there's a little bit of this stuff lying around his cage. The isopods that live in here with him should be able to clean that up just fine. You want this piece? What? Do you want it? Come on. It's gonna fall. It's gonna fall. Do you want it? You gotta eat it. Eat it if you want it. Oh. Very sad. Hey, good job, dude. You ate so much of that. I'm trying just one more piece here because it makes me happy to see this guy eat so much. What? Oh no. Too high, dude. You always aim too high. If I hold it higher, will you get it? Yes. So for toads, or at least for this toad in particular, I would call this gel definitely a success. I'm willing to bet that my leopard gecko, with his voracious feeding response, will be willing to give this a shot. What do you think, bud? Quick, before it falls off the tongs. There he is. This is a big boy. Good job. What do you think of that? Oh, he's considering it. Give it a second bite. You gonna munch that or spit it back out? So it's a little hard to tell whether he likes it or whether he got that big piece down. This guy is big on dubia roaches, so he was probably expecting one of those. He's really licking his chops. So we will see if this is a winner for the leopard gecko as time goes on. So I've also tried this stuff for all of my geckos that are on Pangea gecko diet, and it seems that it's not quite palatable for them. I was told by somebody that many zoos actually feed this stuff to their aquatic turtles. I only have 2 little turtles in here at the moment, but my razorback musk turtle is definitely giving this some thought. You want to come try this out, bud? I think he's going to give this a try. You got the whole piece. Oh, he could eat this. Good job, little guy. That's probably enough food for him for the day. We have my little Texas map turtle over here wondering what's going on. Do you want some too? You get some. Nice. Alright, this is a winner for the Aquatic Turtles. So, like I said earlier, this stuff is actually relished by isopods, and that's good for me because at this point I think I have 14 different species. This gel, because it is algae-based, should work really well for them if I ever run out of my isopod-specific diet. I definitely don't have time to go over all of these guys right now, but hopefully we'll have an isopod collection video out relatively soon. So here's the part of the video I'm sure some of you have been dreading. We're gonna feed all of my cockroaches. Now don't worry, these are internet cockroaches. They're not real, they can't hurt you. Please don't click away just yet. Let me show you these cockroaches. So as with the isopods, I have acquired quite a few of these. I'm up to 10 species of cockroaches now. And we are gonna feed, I think we're gonna feed 9 of them. My Madagascar hissing cockroach colony down here exploded and then collapsed, and the tub itself is not in much of a state to be viewed right now. On top of them are my main feeder cockroaches. These are Blaptica dubia, the Guyana spotted cockroach. And as you can see, I've already been testing out this diet a little bit. It's been a few days since I started filming this video. I don't have a ton of these guys right now. I'm trying to build my numbers back up so that I can feed them off. But here they are. They're just bugs. It's only the males that have that standard cockroach look with the wings. These prettier looking ones are the females, and all those little guys down there are the nymphs, or the babies. So dubia roaches. Everybody who is on this channel because it's a reptile channel has definitely seen these before. Now, in order to maintain these guys, I just use these water crystals. These are meant to serve as hydration for plants, but they're non-toxic. They can't drown in these, and they serve as a nice little water source for your cockroaches, or for other bugs. I used to be using this Fluker's high calcium cricket diet for crickets and other feeder insects. They don't like this stuff very much, and it's getting pretty old, so. But they have been a little more favorable towards this new cockroach diet. We have Arena vaga boliana, which is the Bowles sand cockroach. I don't know how many of these guys I have thriving in here right now. This is a native species in my area. Similar to the hissers, this colony was doing awesome at one point, and then I had a bit of a crash, but I know there are still a few hanging on in here. And, oh, yep. I just saw a baby. Yes, we're back in business. This colony is going to start again. So as you can see, teeny tiny baby. Hard to tell it's even a cockroach, but if they're making babies in here, that's a great sign. So I'm gonna be doing this for all of them, just a handful of water gel in the dish and a scoop of cockroach diet. And I do mist these down occasionally between feedings. Under here we got Irgala pilosa, the black beetle mimic cockroach. I think I only have nymphs in here right now, no adults, so we are unlikely to see any of these guys in action. They like to bury really deep in there. This is just a black beetle-like cockroach. The colony under these guys is definitely popping though. All the way down here we have Eublaberus species Ivory, the ivory roach. As you can see, these guys have done a bit of a better job at eating their food and drinking their water, and they are definitely in need of a refill. There's quite a few of these guys in here. Let me see if I can't dig some out. Looks like we also have some Armadillidium vulgare isopods and some grain or soil mites going in here. If you start digging around in here, or if you spray it, or they smell food, then they all swarm to the surface. Here's one. This is an adult. So this is an ivory roach, and you can see it's very gross, very cockroach-like, but it has this beautiful ivory color, and he even has a little butterfly on his head. Isn't that precious? So, the ivory cockroach. Really a beautiful bug if you can get past the roach factor. And these guys, if you couldn't tell, they spend all their time buried too. So all of these little tubs, these are for my primarily substrate-dwelling roaches. Moving on, we have some much cooler species to show off. These are my locking gasket tubs. These are almost identical to my cockroach tubs, but they have more ventilation holes, and they are clearly taller. To make this a little easier, here's all 4 of them. So, starting on the left, we have Blabberus giganteus. These guys are pretty freaky. I think I'm only down to 2 adults now, but there are plenty of nymphs in here, so we will have more in the future. Now this is the Brazilian giant cave cockroach, Blabberus giganteus. These guys are pretty wicked. Looks a bit like a larger version of the ivory head roach. The ivories are in the genus Eublaberus. This guy is in the genus Blabberus. Now roaches are kind of freaky. Lots of people have a fear of them, but they are an insect like any other. Only a select few cockroach species have the capacity to infest homes and live alongside humans. So, Brazilian giant cave cockroach. Most of these roaches, I also supplement their diet with fruit and vegetable scraps. And, you know, by gut loading them like this, then they make great feeders. We have another giant species of cockroach in here. This is Archimandrita tessellata, the giant peppered cockroach. This one doesn't quite have the wingspan of the giant cave cockroach, but it is much heftier. You may be able to tell this is a big bug. Oh, you know what would really freak people out is if I put this on my face. Let's do it. This guy's feet are actually a lot sharper than I thought they would be. So, as you can see, I have to let go of my lip. This guy is not having it, but you will also notice that he too has that interesting little butterfly pattern on his head. A lot of cockroaches have this. I don't know what's up with that, but it's pretty nifty. So this is the giant peppered cockroach. Archimandrita tessellata. I have a few of these guys in here. Okay, I see at least 3 adults in here. Due to their sheer size, these guys take pretty long to grow, but they're definitely reproducing, so I'll have more in the future. Here's one of the babies. Looks just like any other cockroach. And you'll notice that even in all of these non-fossorial, non-burrowing cockroach tubs, I have a few inches of nice substrate. And that's just for the nymphs, because the nymphs do like to burrow, even if the adults don't. We're going from giant cockroaches to tiny ones. In here, I have 2 species actually. This is because I thought the first had died out and introduced the second, and now I just am stuck with both of them in here. This has Panchlora nevea, the banana cockroach, and Gina lurida, the porcelain cockroach. Both of these are tiny, both of them are excellent flyers, but at least neither of them has the capacity to infest my house. These are delicate tropical species. There we go. So these little green guys down here, these are banana cockroaches. These make great feeders for visually inclined reptiles that can catch fast bugs. As you can see, they are really frickin' fast. So here we go. Here's a banana cockroach. This is Panchlora nevea. These are also known as the Cuban or green cockroach because they are from Cuba and they are definitely green. This is an adult. This is as large as they get. There is a larger variety that you can buy if you know where to look for them. I just have the normal ones. So banana cockroach. I have plenty of those guys in there. In addition to those, we have the porcelain roaches. I saw one over here when I was digging. Oh, there's plenty of babies in here too. Here's a porcelain. You can see both of them are fast as all get out. Okay, I passed up plenty of babies and freaked everybody in the tub out, but this is an adult porcelain roach. I have to hold him like this or else he's gonna get away immediately. So just a rather pretty little tropical small cockroach species. There he goes. Porcelain and banana cockroaches. Now last but not least, these were everybody's favorite in the last cockroach video I did. And here we have a whole bunch of death's head cockroaches. And these guys are so named because they have a perfect little jack-o'-lantern on the back of their head. You can see of all my more exotic roaches, these ones are doing very well for themselves in here. I have a ton of adults and even more nymphs running around in there. So one last go, feeding with Missouri cockroach diet. There's one of the nymphs right there. Looks just like any other cockroach nymph. And watering with our little gel crystals. Alright, that's it guys. That's all the cockroaches. Your nightmare is over. So, I think that's about it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed that little mini tour of just a fraction of my current collection. We fed my Quaker parrots, African soft fur rats, mice, Chinese button quail, tiger salamanders, aquatic turtles, my Sonoran desert toad, one of my leopard geckos, and of course all of my cockroaches. If you enjoyed this video and you'd like to see the rest of my collection real soon, feel free to leave a like, feel free to subscribe, and if you have any questions, drop them in the comments section and I'll try to get back to you. It's a little harder for me than it used to be, but I might come across it anyways. So once again, this is Daniel Carter at AfroHerpkeeper, signing off, telling all y'all, thanks very much for watching, and have a good one.